there, this is Graphic Novel Life, and this is going to be a basic Copic tutorial, just kind of to get you started. So, this is the card we're going to, or image we're going to be doing. I didn't draw this, just letting you know. So, I'm going to show you how we did the skin tones right here, and the hair. And I have the skin tone right now. That's what we're going to do right now. So always with me, I start with this color, eggshell or E50 if you have that. And that's the lightest color you have. So what you do, as like always, the best way to get what we call saturation for your pens is to take your color and swirl it around. With these markers, the best thing to do is be pretty light with them. Okay, so I don't know if you can notice, but how blotchy her skin kind of looks. That's okay, that's how it's gonna start. And here you can see that there's more of a granite and the colors go into each other. They're not, it's a smooth transition, I guess is what you want to say. Okay, so once you lay down your first color, you're gonna take I always take my second lightest color, and that's the Milky White. And what you do is let's say your shadow is coming from this way. This technique is called flicking, where you start and then push out so the color gets lighter as you go. And then you take, I don't normally do this, but you can do a very pink color. This one is fruit pink, and you'll use it as kind of like your extreme shadow, I guess you could say, like that. If I can pick this up, so if you can see that. And then you can take the same color again, the Milky White, and make your shadow a little more. And then to make the colors all blend back in together, to make it a smooth thing again, you go over with your first color, which was the egg white, and blend it back in. So now the colors are going to look smooth. And then if you really want, you can always go back, and if you don't like how it looks, you can keep adding to it. It's pretty great. So like here I want to add a darker color, which is raw silk, and these are always my favorite colors. And so I added freckles and whatnot, and cheek, which I always use flesh pink, and those are your pretty basic skin tone colors that you should always keep around. So I don't know if you can see that, but that's how it's gonna look like in the end. So the next part we're gonna do is hair. Okay, so with hair, we're going to use a color that I don't think you would normally think of a hair color, but it's called Brick Beige. If you can read that, sorry, my camera's kind of weird. But, so pretty much you're going to do the same thing you did with the skin to start. Now, for those of you who watch me on DeviantART, you know that I color with Copics a lot, and this isn't gonna look the same. I don't use the same techniques as I'm using right now, but they're kind of important to know. They're just good for starting off. And sorry if in between my words I get kind of like I stop talking. That's because I'm thinking, not because I don't know what to say. Just get really focused into this. But yeah, so this is going to give you kind of like a dirty blonde look, I guess. I don't really know. Some kind of hair tone that I think is really good for this person. And I hate these flowers because they're kind of weird. So it doesn't matter right now if you apply it all this down, like you apply it evenly, because this is just your first layer. I'm sorry this is taking so long, but it is. Okay, so that is your first layer. Now, the cool thing about Copic markers is that you can take them as many times as you want and add layers. So this is what we're going to do here. Now, you're going to color at the top because that's where your shadow kind of is from the part. And you do it on both sides, and you again do that flicking technique so that it kind of blends in and it's not super choppy. And you're going to do the same thing with the bottom. So this is still the same color as the base, but if you notice how much darker it is. And that's the cool thing about Copic markers, is that you can use them as many times as you want and get a different color, or I guess different value, since it's the same color. And with a lot of people, if you watch any more tutorials, they'll actually have what they call color families. And that is like the numbers on your pen, if you notice. They have related, like the closer the number is to the pen that you have, the better it blends, I guess you could say. So now you're going to take like a different darker color. I'm using putty, I guess it's called, which is kind of close, but it doesn't matter. Really, with me, I don't have enough of the markers to really know what goes together and what doesn't. So I just, by looks and trial and error, I just add the colors, and hopefully they work out, because it sucks when it doesn't. So this is where I'm going to go and add where I think shadow should be. So like you see the lines in her hair. That's where you're going to add the color. And then go back at the base and the top of the hair where you added the first shadow, I guess you want to call it. And do the same thing you were doing before, the flicking. And this helps give the hair depth, and it just looks better, I think. Now you can really go in and use as many colors as you want, but I'm kind of lazy and I just like using a handful of colors, because sometimes, me being kind of weird like that, too many colors makes your picture look way busy and doesn't look good together, unless that's what you're going for. Okay, so now we have this thing in the back. You're going to take your darkest color, and that is the inside of her hair, which should be the darkest part. But if you want to color it the same, then go ahead. Doesn't really matter. It's whatever you want it to look like. But that's typically what you're going to see people do. Okay, so now that we did all our shading, I'm going to go back in with that barely beige, or brick beige, I'm sorry. And I'm going to do what I did with the skin. You're going to do that circly texture. And I'm going to show you in a second how maybe this will be a little more noticeable, how big of a difference it makes for your pictures to do that. I think this is probably the most important thing you could know about Copics, is how to get that blended look. So I can't tell, I don't know if you can tell, but this side doesn't look as smooth as this side does. And if it helps, like your colors don't really seem to be blending, just keep going back over with it and it will make it a little more blendy, I guess. I don't really know. I don't know how to describe that. So finishing up this hair. And so that is the pretty basics and the most important thing to know about coloring. These are called digital stamps, and they're pretty inexpensive, I guess. This one came with a kit. I'll have to look up who the artist was and put it in the description. But I would always practice with some pretty simple images. Like, go online and find.
Sat on the bottom of the ocean,
and so there you have it, this hair and skin, and next time I wish I would have used this color, but whatever. So if you have any questions, email me on my account and I can make more tutorials and whatnot. So I hope this was helpful. If not, I'm sorry, this is my first try. Well, thanks and hope you enjoyed.